Sally and I are really pleased with our car. We've had it for nearly 10 years, and it's a station wagon, and so it's really roomy. When we bought it, we wanted a car that we could easily fit a bike into without taking the front wheel off. I remember wheeling Sally's bike into the car dealership when we bought the car, and the salesman thought that we wanted to trade the bike in on a car. But this car has a very special feature. Do you see the small lever on the left-hand side of the steering wheel? If you move it up like this, some orange lights on the right-hand side of the car flash on and off. If you move it down, some orange lights on the left-hand side of the car flash. In Australia, these flashing lights are called indicators. And according to the road rules, you're supposed to use them to indicate when you intend to turn left or right. I always use the indicators when I'm driving because, like 96% of Australians, my driving skills are above average. But yesterday, when I was out driving, I was about to turn left, and just before I made the turn, I realized it was the wrong street. And that meant that I had indicated falsely. Indicating falsely might not seem very important, but Jesus actually told a parable about it. It's in Matthew chapter 21. A farmer had 2 sons, and he asked them both to help on the farm. One said no, but later changed his mind and helped. The other one said yes, but didn't help. And so both sons indicated falsely. Jesus told this parable to some people who were questioning his authority. About 20 years later, the Apostle Paul was writing to some Christians about Jesus' authority. Paul wrote that Jesus was equal with God, and you simply can't get any higher than that. But Jesus willingly gave it up and became human. And this wasn't just a change of scene for Jesus. He fully committed to all the trials and suffering of a very ordinary human life. And not just life. Jesus experienced what we all experience, death. And it wasn't just an ordinary death. Jesus was crucified, one of the most painful and humiliating methods of execution that's ever been invented. But Paul goes on to say that this is why Jesus has the ultimate authority in the universe. Because Jesus suffered and died and rose again, he has the authority to call each of us to respond. Now, you might recognize some of these ideas, and that's because the Christian creeds are based on them. Here at St. Matthew's, we say the creed every Sunday. It might be a little bit different at your church. But Paul didn't write those words just so they could be turned into a creed that we say week in and week out. Paul didn't just want us to say words about Jesus. Paul wanted us to follow the example of Jesus. Let each of you look not to your own interests, but to the interests of others. Let the same mind be in you that was in Christ Jesus. And then Paul goes on to describe how Jesus was equal with God, but Jesus willingly gave that up to become human. Jesus committed to living, suffering, and dying with us. Paul describes Jesus as becoming obedient, submitting to what was best for others, for us. It's the same in the parable Jesus told. Both sons indicated falsely, but it wasn't about which son said they would help. The obedient son was the one that actually helped. But what about us? We can say the creed, or we can say that we believe in Jesus. But if we don't actually follow Jesus, then we're indicating falsely. We need to remind ourselves that it's not about keeping laws or trying to be good. Plenty of good people ended up hating Jesus. If we're going to truly respond to Jesus' authority, we need to follow Jesus and live our lives for others. As Paul writes, let the same mind be in you as was in Christ Jesus.